some minor technical issues going on. Welcome to the first session for our new adventure, going through the Tomb of Annihilation here on the Proficiency bonus channel. In a moment, I'm going to bring us over to our loading screen and let the our wonderful new cast run through and introduce themselves to you and tell you a little bit about the characters they're going to be controlling through our campaign over the next however long it takes us to make it to the end, or well, until we end the story or the story ends everybody. Let's bring it on
That's
over
rough.
and
That's rough.
it may be rough, but hey, at least it's honest. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, we're assuming due to the poor weather that's hitting all around the United States right now, we are currently sans video on, well, we can all see our own videos, but as you can see on my stream, we can see me, but none of our cast, unfortunately. So I'll start running right from left to right, though. JJ, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and your lovely new character.
All right, can do. Hey, I'm JJ. You probably remember my voice from the other game we run. So sorry, I'm back again. Can't get rid of me. Um,
We've tried.
this campaign, yeah, I know you've definitely tried. I'm well aware. This campaign, I am running a lizard folk monk, and his name is King Gizzard, the Lizard Wizard. So look out for hilarious shenanigans that he will be getting up to.
And just so everyone at home knows, we are as confused as why a monk is known as a wizard as everyone else is. I think the player is that confused as well, so.
Oh, don't ask me what I'm doing.
Okay, Kaplan, let's turn it right over to you.
Alright, so I'm Keplin, and I'm running a character named Devony Farblack, and she's a high elf fighter that ran away and wanted more adventure than her home could offer her.
Thank you very much. And Dave?
Alrighty, hey, I'm Dave. For this campaign, I'm going to be playing a character named Melik, no last name. He's kind of a fancy boy bard. I'm excited to try and stay out of trouble.
Okay, and have to see what trouble, how much trouble we can get Melik into. Lennon, how about yourself?
Hi, I'm Lynn. I live in San Francisco, and today I will be playing the Eladrin wizard named Quen.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm from South Jersey, and I will be playing Solana Winddove, a land druid, wood elf, who resides in the area of where elves pass through, so she sees other elves and is socially awkward too, like myself.
Now that we've got a little bit gone through and at least a quick intro for our viewers on who we have joining our campaign, give it, well, we will, as they say, jump head first in. I'm just pulling up Twitch here. Okay, so to start out our campaign, well, actually, we'll just jump straight in. For the past several days, talk of the street and areas around taverns and whatnot have all been about this so-called death curse, a wasting disease that afflicts everyone who's ever been raised from the dead. Victims grow thinner, weaker, day by day, slowly but steadily sliding towards the death that they once denied. When they finally succumb, no means can bring them back. And neither can anyone else, regardless of whether they've ever received that miracle in the past. Temples and scholars of divine magic are at a loss to explain this curse that seems to have infected the entire region, and quite possibly the entire world. As we come to find our group of varied individuals, we start out with Quen, traveling back and forth between the Fae, the portal out in the jungles outside of City, passing by and occasionally running into a couple of odd druids that are known to habitate in the region. You've heard of this horrible curse in your meanderings back and forth to town. It comes to your attention as you're one such trip into town seeking an individual that you found in paperwork of your parents. A woman by the name of Syndra Sylvain. As you go seeking this individual, you come to find out that she too is affected by this strange death curse. She seems more than willing to aid you in your search for answers, but not until you've assisted her in solving this curse problem, as she doesn't have much time to live. Melik, you find yourself wandering around the city of Port Nyanzaru. After arriving here, taking the coin you had made through your last, we'll call it adventure, and finding yourself a comfortable inn, spent your money as you chose. You find yourself running low on funds and start thinking maybe it's time to potentially move on. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of coin flowing your direction at this point, when a strange older human mage approaches you with offers of coin and patronage for your art. It's just this little pesky problem of her slowly decomposing body. She asks you to aid in this endeavor to resolve this death curse, as it's come to be called. King Gizzard, the Lizard Wizard. In your various journeys around town, stopping and gathering what information you can to bring back to your tribe, you've run into Melik a few times here and there, different bars, stopped in to watch different performances. And it seems to be you two have almost a budding type of a relationship, somewhat of a mutual respect or curiosity between you. As you find that Melik is going to be going out into the jungles on this excursion for a hoped patron, you find yourself invited to tag along, and as a denizen of the jungles yourself, decide to follow suit and see what aid you can be to see what else you can learn from this group that's being put together. Solana. As mentioned before, with Quen's passing in between the portal from the Fey realm into the prime material plane where you reside and going into town, you have seen this Fey elf pass through your areas more than once or twice. With each time you have passed, brief words of greeting, somewhat terse from your side. Quen seems to be a little more comfortable conversing with people. You learn from Quen of this, somebody planning an excursion to deal with this death curse, which you and your small tribe of druids have been aware of, as they're heading out into the wilderness, which is your home. As with the others, you are offered the opportunity to tag along. That brings us to the final member of our group, Devonay, who has fled from home and found her way to Port Nyanzaru and has been approached by this older archmage and advised that there is a group of individuals leaving out to try to deal with this. And they can use a good sword hand to aid them. She's offering to aid you however she can, assuming she survives this curse and if you are all successful. As she has approached each individual one of you, or in some cases the four of you with one lizard tag along, you find yourselves gathered with Syndra, invited into her home. And Syndra herself, a retired adventurer and current merchant, as a uniformed attendant leads you up a grand staircase into the third floor and then ushers you into her very finely decorated room. A fireplace, large comfortable chairs, and a heavy oaken table with multiple goblets and bottles of wine on it. Darkly paneled walls hanging across the darkly paneled walls hanging with maps and charts, racks and shelves, and all manner of space throughout the room filled with more rolled up maps and charts. As you all enter, you see a person sitting in one of the chairs right next to the fire. You can't tell much of the individual's face at the moment, as they're heavily draped with blankets, and the only section of the face you can see is covered with the silver mask. And Syndra looks up and says, "And help yourselves to wine and seat yourself, friends, if I may call you that."
Yes, my dear mistress, thank you so much.
I appreciate you taking my invitation and agreeing to take upon this task for me.
Of course. How fares your illness?
The same as any others. If this curse is not resolved, it will kill me.
I do have a question about that. About this whole being great with it. You promised coin, but I see 5 of us here. That split, or what is the specifics on that? How much am I going to see at the end of this?
And that all depends on my health and how well you do it. You will become...
Okay,
I will be your patron. If you are successful with this, to start alone, I will hand you yourself 1,000 gold. And then we shall see where our patronage takes us as you grow.
Malik just pours himself like a full up glass of wine and takes a seat.
As Syndra looks a little bit around the room. I was once an adventurer long ago. It did not go as well, and I had died. I was raised from the dead and had put that life behind me.
And what life was that?
We had a small band of us wandering around, clearing out local rabble. The adventuring lifestyle. Sword and shield and camping, looking for treasures. As you can see, I obviously didn't do too poorly for myself, but...
Oh,
Now-
well, yes, I've heard tales of your adventures. You're quite well known in the region.
They know me now more for my charts and things I sell.
Ooh, charts. I like charts.
Oh, well, I may have something I can give to you for when you are getting ready to take upon this task. And Syndra beckons over to her Saren, and let's make sure I got the right one here. Okay. Okay, so you guys should see popping up on your map, or on your screen, a map.
Yay!
Yeah.
Syndra proceeds to have her mentor and obtain the map and brings it over, and where you mentioned you like them like charts, hands it over to you.
Yay! Goody!
I'm going to oh, perfect, it's in all players' journals. Okay, so she hands it over to you and says, when you're out, this is as much as we have of this area charted currently. Hopefully it will be of some aid in your searches.
Yes, Chelt. I've heard of this. This could be the place where I can search for my mother. She's been missing for so long, and
Yes, that's great. Do you know where to start? This seems like a pretty big place, and I don't have a lot of time to be fiddle farting, pardon the pun.
Well, the best places to start is ask around town, for there are many different beliefs and thoughts on this curse. It's my contacts in the Hoppers have learned that the cause of this death curse is a artifact of necromantic origin. They refer to it as the soulmonger. According to their sources, it's in Chult.
Well, I'll take that off your hands. It looks fabulous. Thank you.
The entire peninsula is ringed with mountains and dense forest, as the Scarlet One would be able to attest to, and probably yourself there, Druid. It's massive reptiles and the goblins and the undead. There has been not much luck finding their way into the deeper regions, as you can tell from the map.
We have a reptile. He's fun.
Currently, King Gizzard is like standing by the table. I'm gonna pick up the first thing I see. What would that be, Mr. Matthew?
Okay, so you're standing right next to the right next to the table.
I haven't been paying attention to this whole conversation. I've just been looking at all the trinkets and stuff.
Okay, so standing right by the table, the first thing you reach out and grab is just a bottle of wine. So there's nothing else on the table but bottles and goblets.
I'm just gonna kind of show it to this decrepit old thing. What do you call this?
is a bottle of wine.
I like. I'm just gonna stare at her.
Feel free to take it with you.
Melik raises a half-empty glass at his bud and is like, "It's good. It's good. Can attest."
The
I
last
just, like,
thing we
tuck it
need
on.
is a drunk lizard.
Tuck it under my armpit. Just stand there.
As you guys are sitting around and Syndra, it's upon completion of this task, I have a magical item for each one of you when you complete this. Find your way back to me here, and I shall supply this to you.
Ooh, a surprise. I'm game.
I like surprises. I also like to smash. Thank you.
Oh yes, I do say I love mysteries.
What's a surprise?
It's a secret. We'll find out later. Let's get going.
To Port Nyanzaru we go. Wait, how do we get there?
So, this ancient, decrepit look, well, from what you can see with the mask on, the person looks at you and says, when you are prepared to leave, I have the ability to teleport a small number of people to Port Nyanzaru. I've been there many times before this. There's little chance for problems. Once there, I will stay with a good friend of mine, Wakango Tamu. He is one of the 7 merchant princes who rules this city. Are we prepared to leave now?
Let's hop on this old wagon. Let's go.
I'm ready.
Please, I hope I brought enough clothes.
Okay, so as everyone prepares, Syndra beckons to you and says, come gather around, we must all take hands and hold each other's hand.
Melik jumps up first, grabs that old lady's hand. He's game.
I am
Please,
not holding the lizard's hand.
When is
I do
this
not have any
happening?
hands in
How
my
does the
bag.
hands feel?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Quinn is eager to investigate the lizard person and see if his hand is more scaly than flesh.
Okay, so you've got a circle with Devonay specifically avoiding King Gizzard. You guys gather around the circle, and as all of a sudden you hear this raspy, cracking voice start muttering under its breath, all of you feel the floor disappear from under your feet. As a moment later, with a sudden slam to the ground, you guys find yourself
Ooh.
in a faraway place.
So hot.
This is
You-
different.
As you hit the ground and you sort of shake off the dizziness and discombobulation from this strange, ancient old person's spell, you find yourself standing in a tropical city under a blazing sun. The familiar sounds of a harbor, creaking ropes, waves slapping up against the shore, heavy barrels and footsteps across cobblestone, mingled with voices and some cursing in an unfamiliar tongue, filled with clicks, inhalations, and strange sing-songy words that make it sound almost musical. As you start to notice the aromas surrounding you, strange spices, smells of fish, tar, and canvas from awnings and different materials fills your nose. Visually, beyond everything you can smell and see and hear, the city of Port Nyanzaru, where you find yourselves, is nothing but an explosion of color. Buildings are all painted in bright shades of blues, greens, oranges, pinks. Their walls adorned with murals portraying giant, strange, immense lizards. Mythical heroes. Every building that you're noticing in this area where you've landed has this strange device on it. Baskets and clay urns look to be used for catching something. Pots full of colorful flowers are draped in leafy flowering vines. Strange minstrels and other bards wandering the city in bright clothing adorned with all manner of feathers and shells, performing on street corners. Multicolored pennants and sun awnings flutter atop the walls. A small crowd of children dressed in feathered hats and capes runs past you, barely noticing, and then squealing in delighted terror as a street performer costumed as a giant lizard stomps and roars behind them, marching right beside you as well.
Hey, King Gizzard, do you know that?
It does not look familiar to me.
The entire city is bustling, sweating, laughing, swearing, and singing at the same time. As you're taking all this in, Cinder looks to the group of you and says, I am going to go to my friends. I would recommend finding lodging for yourself. If there are two places I can recommend to you, one is the Thundering Lizard. The other is Kaya's House of Repose. Very different establishments from one another.
In what way?
The Thundering Lizard, let's say in my younger days, was known for a good time. Kaya's House of Repose, you will be well rested.
Well, I know my vote.
I like good times. I also like trees.
There are plenty of trees outside.
Here's what I'm saying. Thundering Lizard, good time. I can get us in for free. Here's how. Music. You just follow me. We'll head on over there and get a good night's rest. No coin needed. Bada bing, bada boom. We're in.
King Lizard's like basking in the sun, and he like stretches his arms out, and like the wine bottle that was tucked under his arm just falls to the ground.
All right. That's a guess from him. Anyone else? Thundering Lizard.
Devaney rolls her eyes and just goes along with it.
All right, that's two.
One is slightly distracted by all the interesting sights of fruit and spices in this marketplace, but realizes he's getting left behind and quickly catches up.
I go too.
Brilliant.
Okay. So it appears that Melik has been elected to take care of your room and board for the evening. So as you guys follow the instructions that your strange old friend has provided to you, you make your way through the winding streets and moving. As the group of you are wandering through, you start to hear large, heavy footfalls coming towards you. And as you go to turn a corner, all of a sudden you see an immense lizard, packed with bags on either side, thundering down the street with somebody leading it, and holding onto like a harness or almost a leash as it walks past you.
Ah,
Kind of like
I don't want to lose.
my head follows it like in awe, like a child. Like, wow.
As
Can we
you-
get one?
Are you asking the person walking by with it, or just in
In general.
out of character knowledge? It is possible if you have enough coin.
Oh! That's exciting.
So as you guys walk, takes you about half an hour. You find your way into the area that you were advised of, the Red Bazaar. As you guys walk in there, you can see there are small shops with huge slabs of meat hanging there. And as beneath the meat, you can see just buckets of a red viscous liquid. And all manner of different shops appear around here. Things, let's see here. You see with mostly everyday things, meats, fruits, vegetables, some tropical fruit, very light tropical clothing, insect repellent, rain catchers, and other household goods. As you walk past, when you get there, you notice the two different inns. You walk past Kaya's House of Repose, and you notice you don't really hear much of anything coming out of the inn. As you get a little further down the road, you come to the Thundering Lizard, and now you start to hear much louder laughing, mugs being crashed together, people shouting. You can definitely tell there's something going on in this location. And I just realized my ringer is still on. So, please don't sue us for the Duke Nukem reference, anyone watching.
Hey Malik, you said something about free. You should do free.
You're right, I did. It does sound like my kind of people. Alrighty, Millic's gonna just prance right on in there, to the bar.
See here. And just double checking. I don't believe there's a map for it. So we made. Yep. So they did not give us a map for the bar, so we will go theater of the mind for this one. So as you walk in the front door, and immediately you see a large, sort of heavy-set, older human male behind the bar. And Paul got a mug in his hand, sort of wiping it down with the cloth. And you got 4 or 5 patrons sitting at the bar. A couple more over in they had a couple of the tables on the far side of the bar room. For the amount of noise that was coming out of here, you're a little surprised at how not empty, but not as packed as you anticipated it would be.
Well, Millic's gonna unnecessarily squeeze right in between two of those people at the bar, right in front of the barman.
So,
Hello, friend. I brought a couple travelers with me. I don't know if you know about me. My name is Melik. I'm a fiddler, traveling fiddler. You might have heard of me. I'm a little bit famous, but I really have no idea where I am. Anyways, looking for a little lodging in exchange for some entertainment.
Byron sort of looks at you. Last guy ain't shown up yet. We can probably do that. How many of you say there are?
3 others plus me and a lizard.
His eyes go wide. I ain't got no space big enough for one of them in here.
Well, maybe not in here, maybe somewhere else.
A little lizard, not a big lizard.
I mean, he's right here. He's right here, not too big.
Oh,
How small you are.
oh, you mean that little? Oh, okay. So 5U until well, we can probably do that.
Fabulous.
How often you gonna be performing?
Well, I will need to get a good night's sleep, so... How's it sound from 1 hour from now till 2 in the morning?
Later than anticipated, but that can be done.
Always have energy for music, darling.
Barman sticks out his hand. You got yourself an accord.
He grabs his hand like limp fish style and just kind of shakes his index finger. Perfect. I'll start my set. Everyone else make yourself comfortable. My treat.
As Malik is taking care of that, what are the rest of you doing? You now have your accommodations for the evening, so to speak. What does everyone want to do?
So Quinn is gonna act like the child elf that he is and kind of just pester and annoy Melik and ask way too many questions about the instruments that he plays, what he's drinking, and if he can have some.
Okay. And Gizzard, what are your plans?
Look, I'd like to talk to this barkeep.
Okay. What are you looking to speak with him about? He's just there
just gonna,
polishing off the glasses, so...
Gonna walk up to him, like, kind of looking confused, looking like around him, like there's something behind him. Where is the thunderous lizard?
The barman sort of gives you a weird look. You're standing in her. It's the name of my bar.
This is a wooden shack. This is not a
It's a
lizard.
metaphor.
A what?
It's a thing that's not a thing. Wait, what?
You soft ones are confusing. When's the noisy lizard getting here?
The barkeep just turns and looks away from Gizzard for a moment. Starts shaking his head. It'll be here tomorrow. It's an off day.
Ah, I look forward to it. I just kind of saunter away.
Okay, Devaney, Solano, what are the two of you planning?
I'm gonna go shopping for sticks.
I'm sorry, you're gonna go shopping for what?
Sticks. Well, actually, I'm gonna go steal sticks from trees and just see what kind of foliage I find.
Okay. And Devaney, what are your plans?
Stephanie is gonna wander up to the bar, but then when she sees Solana leaving, she sort of tags along, just in case. You never know. It's a strange city, and shouldn't split the party.
Okay. So as you guys are starting to go, so we've got 3 currently remaining, and 2 are going to be going out for a few. So we'll start with Melik and Quinn. So, no, because you find yourself, the barkeep is making sure that the group has food, drink, whatever they need as part of his deal with you. You notice as you're looking around the bar, trying to suss out where you're going to set up shop, so to speak. You notice there are a couple of somewhat interesting looking people around the bar. You happen to see a couple of humans sitting in one spot. And over in one corner, sitting and talking with themselves, you see a couple of tabaxi. And then at the one end of the bar, again, sort of sitting off by himself, you see a single albino dwarf.
All right, well, Melik is going to walk right up to those tabaxi. And for song, friends.
The two of them sort of startle and look back at you a little bit. Do you seek to hire this one?
Sorry?
River mist. And points over at the other one. Flask of wine. We are guides. You seek to hire this one?
Oh. Guides around here?
I'm sorry, you cut out. You said what?
Guides around here?
Yes. Guides for Beyond the Wall. Wilderness guide.
Interesting. Well, perhaps. What are your wages? What are you looking for in exchange?
For guides is standard charges. 5 gold per day. 30 days up front. 150.
1 second. So Melik is gonna run back over to King Gizzard and just kind of whisper like, "On you," or do you think we get through this forest ourselves?
Why are we going to the forest?
Never mind, this was a lost cause. Okay, Quinn, little elf, how much gold do you have on you, and do you think we need giant tiger guides?
So you said that there are more than one set of guides? Who else is there? Are you all part of the same company?
The two tabaxi glance at each other again, and the one that's been speaking so far says, "No, we are guides. You no need speak with other guide." You get the slight impression from their demeanor and what they're saying that chances are they're probably competing. There are probably a bunch of different people serving as guides and competing for business.
Well, my mother always taught me to shop around, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Got it. You do that. Personally, votes on the giant buff tiger men. Find anybody else, call me.
I found a lot of sticks. I'm gonna return if Devaney's done.
Okay. Do me a favor. While you and Devaney were out walking around, roll a D100 for me.
Oh.
Okay. So in your passing, as you're going around and basically hitting the small areas within town, places where people have pointed out that there are, gardens and other small stretches of foliage around, you come across a small group of people sitting in a bench, and they're just chit-chatting back and forth. But as you, as Devaney, walk behind them, you catch one of them says, "Oh, hey, have you heard the latest? Yeah, if you go over that plateau out looking over the Aldani Basin, there's a ghost village up there. All the people disappeared. No one knows why. You can reach it if you just follow that river, what's it called? The Shoshin Star. Yeah, if you follow the Shoshin Star, you can get there. Yeah, it's supposed to be a lot of good stuff up there if you make it. Then they go back and forth, start laughing and talking about the next big dinosaur race as you continue on your way back.
Hey, Devine, did you hear that? Did you hear that we can find Chinese stuff?
Yes, I did. But
That's pretty
I
exciting.
think we should be cautious about a ghost town.
Oh, yeah. We should tell the others about the shiny stuff, though.
You know, what other people think is shiny stuff might not be what you want as shiny stuff.
Like these rocks I have, they're shiny.
Exactly.
I can go back.
Oh.
I've got enough rocks.
Rocks, sticks, all manner of natural items for Solana.
That I basically stole from people's gardens.
Hey, most people don't really seem overly concerned. So as you make your way back towards the bar, and well, the inn, I shouldn't keep calling it a bar. You get back there, you find the group. You see Melik is in the bar with King Gizzard. Quen, are you going to be talking to the others in the bar? Or are you going elsewhere looking for others? What's your plan? I know you said you were going to shop around a little.
Quen is gonna just take all the city in. Quen's gonna kind of go out on his own and investigate and see what everything looks like and smells like and tastes like. He's really, really curious about everything.
Okay. So
Glenn, if you find more sticks, give them to me. These are the ones I have.
Sticks? I think I saw some really, 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 really good ones over there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So as Quen, as you head out, so currently you are coming in right down in, I will shift ping, you are down this way. Where would you like to, where's your direction taking you within the city?
Sorry, I missed that. Who are you talking to?
You, as you're heading out to take in the city, and like you said, poking around, you are coming up down here where you're seeing the little green ping. Which direction do you want to take off wandering to?
I'm gonna head north towards the harbor.
Okay. So you start making your way along this, that's heading slightly northeast to make your way up towards the harbor. What I'm doing is, again, much like some of the others, just listening and hearing the little odds and ends of brain freeze. Hearing the odds and ends from people going around. Give me a moment here, because I just lost my page here. And want to make sure I give you the right information for you're passing through. There we are. Okay. So as you end up coming through, and you hit... Where are we? There we are. Okay, so as you get up and you're passing through, you get to this point up here, and you find yourself standing in the middle of a fairly massive fish market. You see there every manner of fresh fish, literally off the boats right to the shops around. You notice that the prices are a little higher than you'd expect, but you get the slight feeling it may be because the time of day they look like they still have a very good selection on it. And Solana, I have to ask real quick, we have both the actual mod for proficiency bonus and one of our viewers, Ghost, are interested in the shinies you speak of. So, if you find shinies, you have fans watching who want to know more about shinies.
Oh, I found shinies. The rocks?
Hey, they're just asking about shinies in the Twitch chat, so told them
Oh.
I'd pass the information along to Solana for them.
Oh, rocks can be shiny, and they cannot be shiny, and I like the shiny rocks.
And Quinn, as you're poking around, sort of just again taking in the city, watching these people walk by. Every few minutes, you see another one of those massive lizards walk by with bags and baskets adorning them. And you see, as you're looking at the different buildings and the storefronts around here, every one of them has one of these strange baskets sitting up on the side. Looks like to catch something. As you're poking around, though, go ahead and roll a D100 for me. Okay, you got something different. So as you're passing through, and again you see this dinosaur, large lizard walking by, two people leading it back through. And as they walk by, you see a small child look up and sort of get startled by it. And the parent leans over. No, it's okay. The great god of Tao once guided everyone in Chult, but he got tired of the constant warring and abandoned us. Since then, we've taken these great creatures he created and turned them into beasts of burden, and moved on to various other deities who are still with us. Although not all of them were the most honest of creators. And you see the child sort of look at the parent a little sort of cockeyed almost, like, sure, okay, yeah. And then goes back to just sort of staring at this large lizard with slight horror.
Quinn also matches the child's curiosity in hearing about this story. Quinn kind of is looking around. What does the area around the lizard look like?
It's just a street. It's literally from, and I don't know off the top of my head, DM failure on the Fey equivalent, but it's basically, you get the sense that these large reptiles are being used as pack animals. To these people, this creature is a common mule, or a draft horse.
Quinn thinks that the lizards, while impressive, could be painted up in prettier colors.
Is that internal monologue, or is Quinn making that observation out loud?
Internal monologue.
Oh, okay. So as you poke around a little more, and again, as you're making your way up towards the, further up towards the harbor, you get a little closer in, and again, as you're looking at the different houses, just examining the city, do me a favor, make a perception check for me. Are you still with me, Quinn?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Okay. And actually, if it's easier for you on the sheet, you can just click perception. It'll roll right from there as well for you. But with that, you're noticing as you get closer to the closer and closer to the harbor, and you're looking at these houses again, and they're all the greens, blues, oranges, pinks, purples, these bright, vibrant colors adorning all these different houses. You're noticing the same thing on every on every one of the buildings, there's one of these large, about 5 or 6 foot long baskets or tubs, either on the roof or on one of the walls, up near the roof, on each and every building you're passing.
Pterodactyls.
Let's say who?
Pterodactyls. Definitely pterodactyls.
Quinn looks around and is really curious about these baskets. Is there any sort of stall or perhaps is there an old person around that maybe Quinn can ask about these?
Hey, as you're walking around, there are definitely people walking along the street that you can stop and ask.
Quinn quickly spots the oldest looking person that he can find, walks straight up, taps them on the shoulder and says, excuse me, I'm not from around here. Sorry, I hope you're doing okay. But I'm really curious about these baskets that seem to be everywhere. Is it okay if I ask you about them?
Oh, but of course, I'd be more than happy to help you out. Those are our rain catchers. The waters in the rivers and whatnot is slow moving and stagnant. It's not safe to drink. If you're going to use that, you have to boil it for an extended period to make it drinkable. And I must stop for a moment and say, Ghost, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the adventure. We look forward to having you here every Monday night. And now, right back in. Sorry about that. And, we use these rain catchers because how much rain we get is, it's far too much, but the rainwater is safe to drink.
Quinn looks on very wide-eyed and says, "Oh wow, thank you so much. What is your name?"
Oh, but of course. My name is Alexandra.
Alexandra, thank you so much. And then Quinn quickly turns and kind of trots away towards the harbor where he's been trying to go, and while keeping an eye out on everything else.
Okay, so as you make your way through and you find your way into the harbor, as you walk into the harbor, you notice among the boats and everything else in the middle of the harbor, there is a massive statue standing of, from this distance you really can't tell a specific race, but is a massive regal looking humanoid dressed up in full regalia. You can this person was of royal descent, resplendent in a beautiful leopard skin loincloth and a full headdress of feathers and shells, and very large elongated teeth also adorn the headdress. As you're looking at, you can see a flowing cape of some sort of fur on his back, along with what appear to be some sort of furry tails hanging off of it. And in the statue's hands are held an oval shield and a strange weapon you're not really familiar with. When you're looking at the statue, it looks to be in pretty good condition. I'll phrase it, your uneducated guess is it's not real recent, but it's not an ancient fixture. It's definitely something that's more recent than some parts of the city you've seen.
Quinn looks around the base and the perimeter of the statue to see some kind of a engraving or memorial text.
It would take you a while to get there. The statue is actually you're seeing this at a distance. It's out in the middle of the bay. So you're coming through, and if you come, say, over here or even over this way, You're looking at it across a good, actually, let's see how far away it is. If we go from here, it's good like 300 feet. At this distance, you wouldn't be able to read anything if there is a placard on it. But you're pretty sure that if you grab a local and ask them, they could point you out at who you're looking at.
Seeing this, Quen immediately looks around and goes to the youngest looking person he can see and asks them about the statue.
As you're looking around and you see a couple of kids chasing each other back and forth along the docks, and as you look down at one of them and sort of like trying to get their attention, a very small boy looks up at you. Hi. How are you?
Hi. Hey, that's a really cool ball you have.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, so, you see that statue over there? What is that?
Oh, that's Nanabuso, the great king.
Who's Nanabuso?
With this, you watch as the brow furrows and like, he's a great king. He's old though, long dead. But yeah, he's the great king. And just sort of nods with a strange sort of look in his face, like, don't ask me anymore. I don't know.
Quen says thank you and says, hey, wait, there's something behind your ear. And then Quen spirits a little sweetie from behind his ear and gives it to him.
Thanks. And takes it and goes around. Hey, look, and chases off his friends to show him the little treat and try to explain how it came out of the back of his ear.
Quen looks on and laughs a little bit to himself, and then puts his own hand up to his ear, and then magics a sweetie from his ear.
Okay, so let's see here. Okay. So as you're looking around here, and actually, give me there you go. Okay. Okay, so we've got, there we are, I apologize. And so go ahead, now that we have reached the port, what else are you looking to do in this area? Just still exploring around?
Quen realizes that the sun is really, really hot, and he remembers that the bar everyone was in probably served really cold drinks. So maybe he's gonna try and look for a glass of cold milk over there.
Oh, okay, so as you make your way back, and as you're, it takes you about another 20 minutes or about a half an hour, just taking your time to avoid, I don't want to say stressing out, but overexerting yourself in the blistering heat. As you find your way back to the bar, you're actually walking in as you see a couple of other individuals pop in to the bar as well, and they go up to the barkeep and start having a conversation with them.
Quen kind of middles in between them. His head kind of barely pokes over the height of the counter, and then tries to get the attention of the barkeep.
As the two people who had walked in hadn't really acknowledged the barkeep yet, the barkeep just sort of looks at them and then looks over to you. Hi, how can I help you out?
Hey, so, okay, first, I'll have a big glass of cold milk. Second, can you tell me about those two over there?
And which two are you poking at? The ones that just walked in?
Yes.
Oh, no. Oh, the woman is, Anit. All I know about her is she's a studious type. A major librarian or something like that. Don't know much about her, only pops in when she's looking for somebody to do something for. The other one is wearing the same style robes, must work with it, and don't know nothing about him. He's telling you that, puts a glass of milk on the counter for you.
Ah, good, my favorite. How much?
The other one took care of it for you. You guys are good for the night. Gonna put in some work for us.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. Okay, well, thanks. Quinn, grabs the milk and kind of makes his way towards the two new strangers that came into the bar and maybe tries to overhear any conversation. Maybe just lingering for just a moment longer than normal while sipping his glass of milk.
Okay, so do me a favor, go ahead and make a perception roll, and then I'm going to jump over to the others for a moment, then we'll jump back over into this. So, while this has been going on, and yes, I must say welcome as well. I apologize I didn't catch you right when it flopped up on my screen, but welcome me juxtaposed, and thank you for the follow. Look forward to having you along on our journey here. So, Malik and King Gizzard, what have you guys been up to in the last like half an hour, 45 minutes while Quinn was off looking around the city?
Well, first of all, I definitely spotted Quinn with that glass of milk, and pretty sure there aren't any drinking ages in magical land, Quinn. Grow up. Second of all, I'd like to check out that stout glass of milk over there in the corner, by which I mean the albino dwarf.
Okay, so let's see here. You're back over. There we are. Okay, so as you point out to him, he looks to be built somewhat actually, let's see here. There is apparently a handout for him when you speak with him. Just give me a second here. Okay, where are we? Okay, so the person you have come to see, and I'm just going to flag this up on the screen for everyone here, including our viewers. Here is your albino dwarf, as you look sort of a stocky build, one large darker colored spot on his forehead, but pale white skin, white hair and long bushy beard, sitting on the bar, sipping on a glass of a strange amber liquid.
Well, hello, friend.
Well, how you be doing?
Fantastic. New in town. Name is Malik. What's yours?
Mushadib. I take it you're looking for a guide then.
Well, I actually hadn't gotten to that point. First, I was going to say wonderful to meet you. Second, I was going to ask, you know what? Let's just cut it. Wonderful. Guide. What are your rates, then?
Standard guild rates, 5 gold a day, 30 days up front. It'll be 150 gold, and we can take off when you're ready.
What skills do you offer in particular? Because I was just chatting up some very muscular tiger men.
Let us see, what skills does Mushadab have for you? Where are we? We're trying to find him in here. Come on. You know, no, we'll do it the other way. can't find it in the book easy, we just find it in the in Roll20. Okay. So as your he looks at you and says, okay, I have some minor magical abilities. I can speak with the local creatures and make our passings less easily detected to things looking for us. Keep my hand axe. Keep my hand axes with me, and sees he's got two hand axes strapped on his belt. And for those odd people who can see my camera, I pointed at my shoulder for some reason because hey, makes sense. So you get the idea. He's got some very minor spellcasting ability, but primarily tends to deal with things using the hand axes.
I like it. I like it. Tell me, how many times have you done this guide work per se?
Let me see here if I done it 4 or 5 times. We don't tend to be gone for long. Most people don't go into the deep.
What are usually people hiring you guides for?
Going out hunting, trying to explore, looking for treasure. Any number
Do they
of
ever
things.
find any?
Some of them do. Most of them find what they're looking for and decide it's not worth the risk.
Interesting. Risk, you say?
Yes, there's undead, larger beasts, wild animals, not to mention the insects and the bugs. It's not easy traveling in the deep jungle.
Okay, well, let me just count on my fingers real quick. We've got larger beasts, think the lizard can handle that. You said you can talk to animals, so that just leaves undead. Because, if we happen to run into any of those.
With that, he sort of laughs. If. Okay.
Okay.
Goes back and just takes a pull off his glass.
So, when, then?
Yes, when?
I do understand how the joke is funny, but I'm asking you what to do when.
Kill them? Or run?
Alrighty, thank you for your time, Musharib. We'll keep this resume in my cap for later. Just gonna poke around a little bit. You have a great drink. This has been fantastic.
Holds up his little glass of amber liquid and tosses it back before trying to flag the barkeep down.
Malik just looks at King Gizzard and, his throat motion, nah. Don't know about that one. And then... Yeah, okay, I'm good.
Okay, King Gizzard, what are you doing at the moment? Okay, I think we've lost King Gizzard at the moment. So, we will jump back to him in a second. Devaney, what are you up to?
We're back at the tavern by this time.
Yeah, so you and Solana have both made your way back. You've seen Quen has just come in and is now getting a drink and is sort of meandering slowly by these two new people who just popped in.
Can I gather everyone towards the table? I go, hey guys, I got a secret.
I'm going to avoid the table. And I've seen you talking to Masharib, and I'm going to go over to him, and I'm going to ask him what he knows about the ghost town.
Oh, I was going to tell them about the ghost town.
Okay.
I'll let you do that, and I'll get the
Okay, so I tell them about the ghost town.
Okay, so real quick before we jump into that, Quen, when Solana starts calling everybody over to the table, are you going to go over or are you going to stay and keep listening in on this other person?
Quinn's gonna polish off the last bit of swig of his glass of milk, and is gonna slowly make his way towards the table where everyone else is being gathered.
Okay. And then, so Devaney's going over there. And, King Gizzard, are you back with us? Okay, can anybody hear JJ? I saw him leave and jump back in.
No.
No.
Okay, JJ, it seems like we are still having difficulties with... Oh, wait, your mic's lighting up now.
It's good now?
Okay, now we got you back.
Yeah.
Ah, sweet. I don't know what was going on.
Okay, so what is King Gizzard doing?
Just uncomfortably like trailing patrons, standing behind them, just observing them. Yeah, just being a general nuisance. Pretty much.
Okay. So as you find yourself wandering around, you and Quinn end up sort of converging behind this one individual. And as you're walking up behind them, you hear this this human lean over to the person with her, and says, I need to find someone to deal with this. These wizards in the red cloaks, I keep seeing them. And I know that I keep seeing them in flashes of the Aldani Basin. There's got to be someone I can find to take this on. I've brought it to Grandfather Zatembi, but he's got too many other things on his mind. It's I just have to find people that are willing to do it if I pay them enough. They said this place and that other inn around the corner, that tend to be places for new people to stop off at. There's got to be somebody who'll be heading out to the city and will take us with them.
Do you not like the color red?
You say this out loud?
Uh-huh.
With that, you see this woman give a jump, and she whips around it. I'm sorry, what did you say?
The color red. What is wrong with it?
The wizards who wear the red. I keep having visions. Bad things happen. Do you know
Gonna
of them?
look at Quinn. Just gonna look at Quinn. I don't know what to say.
This woman looks between the two of you. Quinn, do you react to King Gizzard just cocking an eyeball at you?
Quinn meets the eyes of King Izzard, the lizard wizard, and maybe reaches over and plucks a bit of fuzz that's been on his snout, and says, "Huh, red cloaks and wizards. I feel like I've heard of something like that before, but I don't know."
Go ahead and make a history check. Okay, so you have definitely heard of one group in specific comes to mind, as they tend to be the most famous for specifically wearing all red, and those would be the Red Robes of Thay. You can't be 100% certain, but given that this woman keeps saying that she's seeing a group of wizards all wearing red robes, it definitely has that feel as to what you've heard of this group.
Do I know what kind of magic the Red Wizards of Thay are particularly known for?
There's not a specific type they're known for. what you do know on it, and let me grab my thing here. Come on, where are we? Okay, let's see. There we are. Okay. There we are. So, all you really know about the Red Wizard, and actually that doesn't tell me anything on them. I just, I've been cheated by my book.
I say, miss, what you might be having visions of is the Red Wizards of Thay.
So you've heard of these people?
Yeah.
They're in the Aldani Basin. Are you heading out there?
Well, not yet. I'm not so sure. We just got into town and we're kind of trying to get our feet here.
Oh, right. I need people who are going to the Aldani Basin. I have coin I would pay for them to let me go with them. But if you're not going, I fear you cannot help me.
When are you heading out to the basin?
As soon as I can find people who are heading that way that I can go with.
Well, hey, guys, what do you say? So, we need a guy to get through the jungle or whatever, and we need coin, and we need a lot of it fast. So, what do you say we try and do something about these red-cloaked little wizard friends? Oh, not you, wizard lizard, a different kind of lizard.
I have one question. What are red wizards doing in a basin?
Maybe they're washing their cloaks?
This is a strange thing to dream of. Your soft ones are strange.
I'll just say, Gizzard, that's a fine question, but you know what? I'm on board because, goodness gracious, any of these guys aren't worth their salt even a bit, so let's just go get some coin.
Or we could go to Shiny Ghost Village.
Why are you asking for salt?
Well, just think about all of the shiny rocks you could find in the basin.
Okay.
As you guys are having this discussion, Anita's sort of in the background listening to you guys. And yes, Ghost. Well, I shouldn't say that. Only one in passing from the very beginning when we started the stream was passed along to them. From their, I guess I'll call her the benefactor, Cinder Sylvain. Gave them a little bit of information. So, with this though, is where we're now talking about potentially taking a trip with Anit. What we will do is we will take a quick 5 to 6 minute break here. Feel free need to fill up, get your drinks, anything like that, so on and so forth. And thank you again to our viewers who have been hanging out with us since the beginning. We'll be back in about, like I said, 5, maybe 7 minutes or so. We're going to top off our drinks and we'll be back to continue along.
Okay.
Okay, and welcome back, everyone. Thanks for hanging around with us this evening as we are coming back from our brief midpoint break here as we find our group of adventurers now having had a discussion with the young lady by the name of Enid about taking her down towards the Aldani Basin to deal with some red robe wizards that one of our party members, Quen, is pretty sure are the members of the Red Wizards of Thay. So as the group has come together and had this discussion, Enid comes over and says, I'm prepared to offer 100 gold towards our journey, and I would strongly recommend obtaining a guide, as these jungles can be treacherous and I'm not as familiar with the areas outside of the walls. But here, and she drops a coin bag on the table with 100 gold in it.
Ooh.
So this basin is in the forest.
Yeah, yes, the basin is a ways in the forest.
That is an odd place to put a basin.
Yes, so about the guide we've talked to already, maybe this can be like a test run or whatever? Where's those giant cats at? Anyone seen them lately?
Well, here's my thinking. We have the two options. Tiger Man, tiny white dwarf man. Okay. Tigers don't talk too much. Tiny dwarf man does. Maybe I can see if I can get us a better price. Give me just 1 second. Malik is gonna go over to the albino dwarf man.
Okay.
Are you going to interrupt my conversation with him?
Oh, that's actually a very valid point. As Melik's heading over there, let's jump back over, because I apologize, Devaney, I completely forgot you went over to talk to him while all this was going on. So, while they're all over talking with this, what are you discussing with our little dwarvish friend?
I'm going to ask him about the ghost town that I overheard other people talking about, and where is it? What did he think of it? Does he know anything more about it? That sort of thing.
Okay, so just jump back over to my notes on that one. So as you walk over and you start conversing, you just, wow, I've heard of the plateau that overlooks the basin, but not real big on much, and no ghost town up there. If I'm remembering right, there's I know it's down a pretty decent way south from us, but beyond that, I mean, I can get you to the basin, but we'd have to find a way up to whatever point you're looking at for some ghost town.
Do you have any idea of where this rumor might have come from?
It's like most of what's going on in Chult. It's people will talk, and one person says one thing, and somebody overhears part of it. You know, ever played that game, Carry a Pigeon? You send a message from you to somebody, then to somebody else, and to somebody else, and by the time it's at the end of it, no one knows what the original message was.
That makes sense.
And at about this point, as you two are sort of talking, going a little back and forth, that's when you notice Melik coming up on your side.
Ah, Devaney. Perfect. Okay, I was about to get in here with my friend here. Ooh, I'm gonna whisper to Devaney. What was his name again?
To our friend here, and I...
Musharib.
Thank you, Musharib.
Musharib. Yes, Musharib. Fabulous name. Happen to know where a basin is around here?
Yeah, it's funny. Y'all should really be talking to each other, but yeah, I was just having a conversation with your young friend here about the basin and about how I could lead you down to it, as it's down a ways in the south.
Perfect. Yes, Devonay, always taking the initiative. Great young lady. Anyways, so looking to hire perhaps. Yes, 5 gold a day is the guild price. Was that 150 gold up front?
Yes, 30 days up front.
Right. Okay, so how about maybe we strike a little bit of a deal? Because I do have a benefactor that's with us on this little expedition. And maybe we can get you in a little more gold if you give us a little bit of a leeway at the beginning.
Is it going to take us 30 days to get there?
To the basin itself, no. And then he sort of turns away from you. And what are you talking about there? What sort of break are we discussing here?
Oh, I just mean skim a little bit off the top, add maybe twice as much later. We'll see. We'll play a little Calvin ball with it. But like as Devonay said, it's not going to take us 30 days to get to the basin, so it doesn't quite seem fair to go ahead and pay the full 30 days up front, don't you think?
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Damn.
Nice.
Wow. Don't you think?
You might have a point there. So, I'll give you one of two options. We can go with standard rate of 5 gold per day. You pay for, say, 15 days up front. Or we can go with, if you stick with the standard time in a 30 days up front, I'll give it to you for 3 gold a day.
One second, be right back. Okay, gonna run back over to the lady.
Okay.
How many days is it to the basin?
Let's see here. It's last I heard from here. You know, she starts thinking, "Oop, did I just? Why did my screen go away? Okay, gotta flip. I tried to pull up my map on my screen so I could actually check how long it would take. Oh, there it goes. Okay, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. She thinks about it and says, "Sure, from what I've been told, I want to say it's about 10, 11 days if you're really pushing your pace. But without a competent guide, you run the risk of wearing yourself out. It's not easy traveling through the jungle at that pace. You're better off taking a slightly slower pace behind it."
Do a quick bit of math here. Okay, now I'm gonna run back over to Usharib.
And you're gonna hear me asking him, how many times have you been to the basin?
To the basin itself, I'd say maybe 2, 3 times. Most people who are looking for guides aren't looking to go that deep in. Most people are looking for minor stuff out there and some hunting for big game. We don't get many pushing out there. That's undead territory out there.
Well, I heard somebody mention red wizards. Have you seen those guys out there? I don't know. There seems to be another conversation happening over there. Overhearing.
No, not the last time I was out that way, but it's been probably a month and a half since my last trip out there.
You are not inspiring confidence in me.
Just sort of looks you up and down. You can always go try to find yourself another guide, little lady.
I'm taller than you.
Not if I drink you under the table. Then he takes a pull out of his little amber liquid.
Okay, Melik has skittered back on over at this point and is overhearing this. Oh, fabulous, a game! So, by my calculations, the two options you gave me were about 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. So, why don't we sweeten the pot a little bit? Devonay?
Yeah.
How do you feel about taking up this hands challenge?
Now, I'm a high elf. I'm very slimly built.
Oh, don't put yourself out. Don't put yourself out. I believe in you.
Fine.
Wonderful. If Devonay wins, 100 up front, 3 gold per day. What do you say?
$100 up front. He reaches out and says, "Deal."
Here comes that fish lip handshake again. Deal. Fabulous. Barkeep.
Yeah, what you want?
What's your poison, Musharib?
As he looks over you and just says, "I've just been drinking Tej all night."
Taj. Interesting. Why not? Let's do it. Taj it is. Rounds of Taj. Let's go. Let's have a good time. And he's gonna pull out his fiddle and start playing a little bit of a tune.
Okay, so his barkeep sort of shakes his head, reaches down, gets a cloth out, wipes down a couple of glasses, puts down one in front of Musharib, one in front of Devonay, and then looks at you, Malik, like, "You want one too?"
Of course, why not? Wouldn't be much of a judge if I didn't partake myself.
Polishes off another one, sets it down in front, and pours 3 servings of this amber-colored drink. So, and just so the DM is clear, you're just looking, this is going to be pounding them back to see who goes down first.
That's what it looks like.
Okay, so let's see here. Where's my named NPCs? Well, actually, before we do that, and I apologize, Malik, I should have asked, what are you offering him if he wins?
Back to the original deal?
The 5 gold a day, 30 days up front, 150?
Sure, why not? We'll just go back to straight and narrow.
Okay.
You have 50 gold on you?
I have 43 and I think I could drum up 7 tips. Don't worry, Devonay, you're going to win.
Okay. So, Devonay, we'll get this started. Go ahead and make a constitution check for me. As you and Musharib look at each other, clink the glass on the counter, and take a shot back. So,
Is that the right thing?
Yep. Actually, that's a save. Let me take a look. I want to make sure the number's the same. So all you have to do is click the Constitution button, but let me just or where it says Constitution, not the save. Let me make sure it's the same number, though. It's a +2. And actually, we'll let you keep that. You would have done, your number would have been even lower at that point. So, okay, well, we'll use that as your seconds. We're going to do basically average them out over 3, because one roll isn't much fun. So you guys take the first one back, and you notice Musharib doesn't seem phased by the first one. As you slam it back, this is a strange drink to you, as you're not native to this city, and this is their version, or it's more popular and more common in this area of Chult than any beer or ale would be. As you guys toss it back, as I said, he doesn't seem phased in the least as you takes you a little by surprise at first as the barkeep comes over, pours another round across. And actually, Mela, go ahead and toss your constitution check in there as well. We'll find out how you're doing as well. Okay, we got people betting gold on the fighter in the Twitch chat, so... Okay. Ooh, Melik is doing great on the first one. I'm assuming you're sticking in having a second one, Melik?
Should I as an arbiter? I think so. I'm feeling great. Let's do one more.
Okay.
What a fun town.
So... As this is funny, we are almost dead even right now with Devaney and Musharib. As he takes back the second one, he's been drinking a little bit today.
Devaney! Devaney!
It all comes down to one roll for Musharib. Let's see what happens. And that is... as Devaney has now gotten a taste for this liquor and finds out, hey, I really sort of like this. She pounds back a third one as Musharib goes to pick up the third one, and you can see him sort of, teetering on his seat a little bit back and forward. Looks over, sets it down, and looks over at Melik. 100 gold up front, 3 gold a day.
Brilliant, wonderful doing business with you. Oh, I do love a game. Would you like your payment now or later? Because I do have it now, as I am an honest businessman.
I'll take it now. Help me settle up my tab.
Alright, somebody go scurry over and just snatch that pack of gold right off the table and throw it at him. Wrap an arm around him.
As he's trying to catch the
See
gold.
you tomorrow.
He goes over and calls the bartender over as he takes care of his business and gets himself down off the stool, makes his way towards his room, taking his last drink with him.
And then Melik is going to switch that arm over to Devaney around her shoulders and run back over to the table with her, shouting, 3 cheers for Devaney! We have a guide and a deal! Party!
Stop touching.
So as you guys come back over, and now the group is reunited, and with the understanding they have this guide, Musharib, for the morning, and you have your, we'll call her your newfound friend in Anit, who is seeking to make her way to the Aldani basin and has given you guys 100 gold, which has now been spent. What does the group wish to do with the rest of their day?
Oh, it's still daytime?
It's like early evening.
Quinn's gonna try and find wherever West is and see if he can find a good place to watch the sunset.
I'm sorry, find where who is?
Quinn is gonna try and find a nice place to watch the sunset.
Oh, okay. And, okay, so that's what Quinn's doing. Solano, what are you going to be doing?
Tagging along with Quinn, whether Quinn likes it or not.
I'm sorry?
Tagging along with Quinn, whether Quinn likes it or not.
Okay, so you're following behind Quinn. King Gizzard, what are you going to be up to?
Oh, people are leaving. I'm looking confused, so I'm gonna follow the people that are leaving.
Okay. And
Come on, lizard, we can do it together.
What are we doing?
Watching the sunset.
Is that a thing that soft ones normally do?
Just come with us.
I will
It'll be
follow.
beautiful.
so as you guys go out and start looking for a decent spot to watch the sunset from. Oh, that's not what I meant to click. You find your way along just west of where you are in the inn. You can see that there's what looks to be almost like a we'll call it like a viewing platform, or almost like a promenade type feel with a couple of trees on it right over here. You guys make your way up to the top and find a couple little benches you can sit down and sort of gaze out towards the west to watch the sunset. Or you guys are heading over that way. Melik and Devaney, what are you guys doing?
Melik's got a show to put on.
I'm gonna tag along with everybody else. Go on, pause.
Oh, okay.
Party poopers!
So as Melik gets up to get prepared for the show that is literally paid for the food and drinks and everything at this establishment for the day. The rest of the group goes to wander off and find the sunset. So as you guys are making your way out of the inn and towards that little promenade I was telling you about, you walk back out, and again you hear, as you're walking over, the merchants getting ready to close up for the night, yelling out and hawking their different wares. You hear people yelling for insect repellent and rain catchers. And then, Coin, as you're walking by, you do notice there's one vendor who's not really yelling out, but you notice that he's got a couple of those same sort of strange weapons you saw out in the statue in the bay. It's a wooden shaft about 3 feet long, and it has what appears to be some of them are made out of metal, some are stone, about an 18-inch blade on one end of it.
I approach the stand and take a closer look at the strange and foreign weapons.
Many greetings to you. I assume you are here to buy Yakalwa.
Yagalwa, you say? Can you tell me, what exactly are these? I'm not from around here, you see, and these are quite curious.
Well, the Yakalwa is a basic weapon of Chultan design. It is, as you can see, is a wood shaft and a blade at the end of it. It can be used to stab with. And some people try to throw them. It is not designed for this, though, and does not go far, not with any real accuracy.
I see. How much for the silver one?
Well, it is no silver, it's just steel, but it's 1 gold piece.
1 gold piece, you say? I'll take one.
Many thanks to you. Here you go. And he reaches over, takes one out, makes sure, gives it a once over, make sure it's in good condition, and hands it over to you, puts his hand out for the gold coin.
Quen fishes around his pockets and digging deep into his pockets and finds a single gold piece and then places it gently in the man's hand.
Oh, thank you. Oh, this is a wonderful day. Not many do we sell in this part of town. Usually people are looking for the rain catcher or the repellent, but I will take it. Thank you. And then, so as you go to make your way over, and you can add that Yakolwa to your sheet. It deals 1d8 piercing damage. And as he said, it can be thrown, but it's got a 10-foot regular range and 30-foot disadvantage range. And that is how it is technically spelled.
Wow.
So you guys make your way over to the front and set up and look, and you don't notice anyone else around you guys up here. It looks like it's just the group of you who are interested in coming out to look at this. As you sit down and relax, anything you guys are doing as Solana's poking around, and yeah, you do manage to find a few more sticks and like broken branches that have come off the tree fairly easily in this area, Solana.
Yay!
Are you guys doing anything else as you guys are, the four of you are sitting up there?
Yeah, I'm gonna look at Solana and be like,
You're planning to make a fire?
No, I like sticks and rocks and things that remind me of the forest.
There's a forest just over the walls.
This is a new forest. It's exciting. I'll probably take sticks and rocks from there too.
How can you tell the difference?
Because they look different and they taste different. Do you want to taste one?
King Gizzard just kind of shrugs and just takes a stick or a rock or whatever you're offering me.
See how it tastes different from this one? And she proffers another one.
I just put them in my mouth.
See, they're different.
King Gizzard, go ahead and make a perception check for me. You actually think you're noticing some minor subtleties and difference between them. You're not 100% sure it's a little strange for you to be, chewing on rocks and sticks. But you've come here with the purpose of learning what the soft skins do, and apparently they taste rocks and sticks.
They do.
So you don't want to be rude.
That's my thing.
Gizzard, what's your native language?
Us lizard folk, we speak Draconic.
I speak Draconic.
Let's start speaking in Draconic then.
I once had a dragonborn friend that taught me how, so I might be a little bit rusty, but we'll see how it goes.
Quen, Solana, do either of you speak Draconic?
No.
No, I don't.
As you're sitting there and this is happening, all of a sudden you start hearing King Gizzard sort of growling almost at Devaney. And as he stops, Devaney turns right and does the same sort of strange things back in slightly different tones. It's a little odd to see this coming from this very small, slender built elf. So, Devaney, if you don't notice in the chat, you've got a... she caught it. So as you guys are doing this, Melik, do me a favor. Go ahead and make a performance check for me. Let's see how that fiddle is going on back at the...
That's great. All right.
Oh, that is nice. You are...
Good show!
You are Johnny. And,
Johnny
you have-
Goldpiece, let's do it.
You have defeated the devil as he went to Georgia. As you are playing that fiddle like they have never heard at this inn before. And as people are walking past and hearing the noise and the people cheering, this innkeeper is thrilled with this deal he made with you guys, because even with the food and alcohol and things in the rooms and whatnot, you are bringing more people into the tavern section of the inn, and he is actually making money off you being there right now.
That's how we do. And Melik, like, kick a little tip jar out there?
Sure. You can, let's say you get something set up, let's see, so we had, go ahead and roll, let's go ahead and say roll 2d8. So as you're going through in the first like hour worth of the show you're putting on, and the first couple of people have started coming in that you're drawing in, as well as the existing crowd that was already there, you've already made 9 gold from patrons just stopping by, tossing, a couple of silver here, a couple of silver there, 1 gold from this person. In total, you've made an equivalent of 9 gold. So as you're going through there, for the rest of you standing up on the wall, the sun is now starting to disappear behind the trees and the peaks in the distance. It's starting to get dark, and you can hear bugs and crickets and grasshoppers and all manner of woodland small creatures start to come out, and basically the sounds of night, as well as the sounds of trade and whatnot in the city, slowly starting to die down.
When there's any like buzzing or like insect noises around me, I'm like kind of like grabbing out, like I've got chopsticks in my hand, just trying to grab them.
The rest of you watch Gizzard trying to grab at little tiny flying insects. Is there anything anyone else wants to get taken care of before turning in for the night?
No, but I want to go hear Melik play.
Say who?
I want to hear Melik play a little.
Oh, okay, so as you guys make your way back to the bar, or the tavern, you can hear the fiddle going as you get probably about 2 buildings up the road from the tavern, as Melik is just having a field day in there. You make your way in, and you can see people are cheering. It's basically a rock concert in here. People yelling, there's noise. It's just a loud, exactly what you were promised, a loud, raucous bar. A lot of people having a good time, good music going in the background.
And I do want to make it clear, Melik is on tables eating it up, like dancing and playing like a fool. He's a little bit drunk and having the time of his life.
And patrons are all getting a lot of bit drunk. So as they're
He's gonna walk up to the front of the crowd and just kind of like look to his left and his right, to the people on either side of him, and just like kind of emulate exactly what they're doing, but not looking at Melik, just like looking at them.
So, Melik, go ahead and make another performance check for me, this one with advantage.
Okay.
Did so well in the first one, and people are drinking heavily, so. Okay. And then go ahead, and this time we're going to have you roll 4d8. And then at this point, you've been up there playing for a couple of hours now, non-stop, getting people in.
Nice.
And people are being a little more free-flowing with their coin a little bit. And you end up with another 30 gold added into your tip jar as you've taken a couple of breaks here and there to sort of dump the tip jar into your coin purse to make sure it's not all sitting out there. And as you're playing and watching and people are into it, your quality hasn't dropped much. You've been going for a while now. You're a little tired, but still giving it everything you've got. And as you're playing, all of a sudden you notice King Gizzard walk up to the front of the closest group to you. And there are these two people sort of standing and swaying and dancing, sort of trancey style with the music. And you watch as this lizard folk and sort of cranes his head, looks at each one of them, and as he looks at one, tries to emulate their dance, but then turns his head to the other and then changes it midway. It's a little disconcerting to watch. But actually, King Gizzard, go ahead and make a performance check. Let's see how well you're emulating your dance. Malik, as you're playing and you're trying not to laugh, you watch as King Gizzard starts to emulate one of them, and it looks like, hey, if you stick with that, it'll look pretty good. But then turns and looks at the other and changes it up and sort of looks almost a little spastic. But he seems to be enjoying himself. Even though he's not looking at you, he's just craning his head between these two individuals on either side of him. So, you've seen worse, though. You've seen worse, you've seen better, but you've definitely seen worse in your history.
Depending on the dancing, Melik was thinking about pulling him up there on the table with him, but now I think he's just gonna let him have a good time down there.
Yeah, Melik would definitely not bring him
I'm
up there,
raking in some good gold on my own. I think I'm gonna leave this one for now.
Yeah, that's it. You may get a couple of pity copper out of that, but... Okay, so, Solana, Quinn, and Devaney, what are you guys doing while, Malik is rocking out and,
I'm gonna give Melik a shiny rock in her tip jar.
Okay, so, eventually, Malik, when you go to count out your, earnings later on, once you're back in your room, you find a very shiny rock in there along with the other coins.
Melik is gonna throw that right behind him. It's a rock.
Quinn is gonna try and get Devaney to dance with him.
Devaney is not having any of it. She'll stand at the back and appreciate the talent. And then after a while, she'll just go on up and find her room and go to bed.
Okay, but Melik is still into that drinking contest, so he's gonna pause for a second and point Devaney out with that bow of his. Devaney! My girl! Get all in here!
I will ladylike wave a hand and smile and then just not move anywhere.
Hey everyone, that's my girl Devaney! Show her a good time!
Quinn pushes Devaney to the forefront and towards the stage.
Yeah, Quinn, let's go! Then he gets back on his fiddle.
I will find the nearest chair and sit down.
Okay, so Quinn's trying to push you up there and you're trying to, just to see how well this works, I want you to both go ahead and make a strength check for me.
Oh geez, I'm terrible at strength.
Let's see what we get.
Is this like athletics or just general strength?
No, just a straight strength check. It's literally just basically a shoving contest. One pushing one way, the other pushing back not to move.
I'm not sure how to do just strength.
If you literally just click on the word strength on the far left-hand side of the sheet. there you go. So as you come up behind Devaney and with both hands go to give her a shove forward, and the minute your hands touch Devaney's back, she plants one foot in front of her and just braces, and the two of you sit there pushing on each other for a second until you both realize this isn't going to go anywhere. You just sort of ease up, and Devaney turns sort of over her shoulder at you, and then just sits back down in her chair.
Gwen is deterred from putting the spotlight onto Devaney.
As the night progresses with Melik going through the full set, you guys eventually find your way up to the rooms you were given for the evening, have your full night's rest, and wake up early the next morning, but not an ungodly early, given Melik was performing so late last night. And as the group slowly makes their way down to the bar, you find the bartender there, eyes sort of half-lidded, trying to clean a glass, but you notice it's really not doing much. He's only half in it, still not fully awake. Who would be the first one heading down for the morning?
Me, I only meditate for 4 hours.
So as you make your way down, and first thing in the morning, he looks over you. Up already? Are you looking for
Yeah,
food?
I don't think so much. How are you? How are you doing? How are you?
I'd rather be in bed, but
But don't you hear the birds singing? Isn't it great?
puts the glass down, looks at you again, one eye half-lidded, sort of. Now listen, lady. It is far too early for this amount of energy. You want food?
Sure, I'll take food. Is it delicious? I like delicious food.
Go ahead and have a seat. I'll bring it over shortly.
Okay.
As you go to sit down, he goes over, gets a cooking fire lit up and starts getting some food together for you. Who is next after Solana has made her way down?
Probably Gwen. Gwen likes to take a nice brisk morning walk around and look at the dew and the rising sun.
So as Gwen, you wake up and make your way down the stairs, you can see the innkeep is over in the far end of the tavern, working over the fire. You can hear the sounds of meat sizzling on the fire, and you can see Solana sitting over at one of the tables. No one else is currently in the tavern part as of this early in the day.
I say, barkeep, could I have a boiled egg?
Yeah, I can do that. Go ahead and have a seat. I'll bring it out shortly.
Thank you, my good sir.
Goes over and gets a pot out and scoops some water out of a basin and puts it on the fire to start heating the water up for your egg. Okay, as you guys are going through, who's next making their way down this morning?
I'll be down by now.
Okay.
I also only have to meditate 4 hours, but I probably do it for 5 just because I can.
So as you make your way down, and as you come down, you see basically the same thing. You can see Gwen and Solana sitting down, waiting their food. Barkeep is working away over on the fire, and actually, as you're coming down and you see your friends there, the barkeep ends up coming over and sets down a plate in front of Solana that is got a bunch of cuts of different meats on it. A couple of eggs look to be either fried or poached or something on the plate. couple of greens and some local vegetables as well. And then after he sets that down, looks over at Quinn. Nag will be over in a moment. How about you, drink master? You want anything for breakfast?
I'll have what she's having, thank you.
Alrighty then. He gets back over and throws some more
Coffee,
meat and
you want
whatnot
coffee?
on there. Coffee. Tej?
Judge!
I'm unfamiliar with that other drink. I have no idea.
Ted sounds good. What's Ted?
So he goes over behind the bar, pours the mug for you, brings it over as he sets it in front of you. It's you're looking down in the mug. It's an amber-colored liquid.
To Ted. I drink the Ted.
Has Solana ever had alcohol before?
No.
So you look this in as it hits your mouth, and immediately you can tell that this is made from fermented honey.
Ooh, Ted.
And as it goes down, you're going, ooh, that went smooth. And
That's delicious. It tastes like honeybees.
your head gets a little wobbly for a moment, but it's an odd sensation for Solana.
Solana likes it.
So at this point is he started up Devonay's meal and has now come back over with a boiled egg for Quen. You guys hear some loud footfalls coming down the stairs, and you see a very pale albino dwarf come down, sort of nod over at Devonay, and then hop himself up on the bar. Usual, one steak. And then Innkeep sort of nods at him and throws his meal on there as well, as he sits down and is waiting for his food. Who's our next one joining us from upstairs? We got two left.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out how to sleep on this bed. Like, you know, it's probably been decked out with blankets and stuff, but I've just been laying on top of it, like, straight as a stick, hands by my side, just looking up at the ceiling.
Okay.
So I'll head down next.
Okay, so as King Gizzard makes his way down a little while later. At this point now, Devonay, your meal's up. Solana's probably most of the way through hers. The dwarf is rather loudly eating his steak as our lizard folk comes down and joins up with us.
I will wish him a good morning in Draconic.
I reply, I do the same thing. I'm gonna kind of like shadow this dwarf. Just gonna like look over his shoulder.
And you're just doing this loud and proud, right? You're not trying to be sneaky about this at all?
Oh no, you should know I'm that.
As you walk up behind him, sort of lean over his shoulder, as he's sitting there and you look, and he's got two hands on either side of this piece of meat. Decent thickness, and he's just bent over and just ripping into it with his teeth. And all you hear is lips smacking as he's tearing into this good-sized hunk of meat, and he just looks over his shoulder at you. Little bits hanging out, and some stuck in the front of his beard. Can I help you?
Your teeth are ill-equipped for that. Let me show you how to do it. I'm gonna try and snatch his meat off him.
Okay, go ahead, and go ahead and make a dexterity check. And, I am gonna, let's see here. And make a strength check to see if he can hold on to it. Okay, do not lose your breakfast, Musharib.
No.
So as King Gizzard goes to grab it out of his hand, Musharib doesn't even move. You get one claw on the side of it. The minute your hand touches it, just backhands at you to knock your hand off it. And looks over, so you don't touch a man's meat. And goes back to eating it.
King Gizzard just kind of stands there and thinks, and just like has a moment of realization, and just nods.
As the barkeep turns around, what do you be wanting for?
Steak, raw.
Raw? Okay. I'll be one of the easier ones today. Walks over, grabs a plate, takes a good, about the same size as Musharib's, about an inch, inch and a half thick, big hunk of meat, just slaps it on a plate and hands it to you.
I take the meat off the plate and leave the plate in his hands. And I just devour the meat in front of him.
The barkeep just sort of shakes his head. You should have told me that before I made another dirty dish. And as you guys are eating, that now brings us to Melik. I'm assuming you're on your way down, or are you still unconscious up there?
He's getting up, but he is struggling. Gonna come on down the stairs, walk past Alana, give her a tap on the shoulder. Right. Walk on past, head up onto the bar. All right, barkeep. Fried steak, fried eggs, fried toast, fried, please.
Okay, give me a few minutes. As he makes his way over and back over to the cooking fire, starts getting your breakfast all taken care of. About 5-7 minutes goes by, brings your food over to you. And as he's bringing that food over to you, all of a sudden, Anit comes walking in the front door. Dressed in her standard her standard clothing. Looks like she's ready to travel. Looks at you guys and sees some of you are still eating, and one is just being brought the food. So just takes a seat up at the bar, a couple of seats down from Musharib. And just when the barkeep walks over, asks for some water. What is the group doing?
Well, Mel's got his plate tipped up just a little bit so that food can slowly slide into his mouth, least effort possible. Not really paying attention to anything else at this current moment.
Quinn is very tediously taking off the egg bits from his boiled egg, trying to make it all perfect before he eats it.
Solana's slightly tipsy and doing circles in her bar stool.
Okay.
King is just
Devin
going to
is
try and
done
pinch those
eating
eggshells.
and ready.
Jesus. Okay.
Gwen, you were leaving the best parts behind.
So as you guys are all sitting there, is take about another half hour or so and manage to finish up and get all your breakfast down. And he looks at the group and says, "It looks like you've got yourself a guide. And it seems like we may be just about prepared to leave. Have you bought Any supplies you may be needing for the journey?
Yes, we have supplies.
Yes, I got this fancy thingy here, a Yakawa.
You see any sort of shake her head and like nod at you slowly. And who has purchased your rain catchers and your repellent?
I don't think we have any of those yet.
Oh,
I'm gonna chip in here and say we were going to purchase some on our way out of town. Obviously, these other folks don't have much experience in adventuring.
no.
As long as you are
Why
certain
would
to
you
do
want
it
to
before
repel
we
the
leave,
insects?
as it is not at all wise to be caught out in the wilds without them.
Perhaps we should do that now. Solana's still a little tipsy.
So as you guys start, oh, go ahead.
Oh, Pun immediately peels off the shell from his egg and seems to eat it all entirely whole, which might take him a minute, but he does it anyways, and he quickly stands up and tries to make himself ready to go.
Okay, so as King Gizzard, who's been meanwhile trying to grab little bits of shell from Quen as you were peeling the egg, watches as all of a sudden the rest of the shell just is yanked off the egg as the egg's chugged down as quick as possible. You guys get yourselves together. Musharib stands up and well, it appears we're being off then. As you guys walk out of the inn, and basically hanging a shift my screen as I'm meaning to, hanging yourself a west and heading over to make your way out into the Tiriki Anchorage section of town to make your way out and down towards where Musharib is telling you the basin is. As you come out, you're right into that Red Bazaar again, that shopping area that you guys passed earlier. And you can see the two merchants are back and opening up shop again this morning. One of them selling rain catchers, and the person across the aisle from them selling insect repellent.
Okay, how much would we need for a journey? At, like, would we have to buy a bottle, or is it, like, days worth?
So, let's see here. As you walk up and you're having a conversation with this merchant, they say, well, we sell the insect repellent in two forms. We have a block of incense, or the salve. So, both of these are meant for the run-of-the-mill bugs. These will not do anything if you run into giant spiders or giant scorpions. Anything oversized laughs this stuff off. But this will keep the small biting insects that carry disease and plague away from you. A single block of incense sells for 1 silver. When you light it, it burns for 8 hours and repels insects within a 20-foot radius around it. One gourd of salve is 1 gold, and it contains 20 applications of this grease. 1 application will protect you for a day. And it is waterproof, which is good because once you're out in the jungle and it starts raining, you do not want this to wash off. So as you're looking at it, depending on how the party wants to handle it, basically a gourd, if you're going to protect each of you for the entire trip using the salve, each of you would need to buy 2 gourds to make sure you can get there and back without an issue. If you're going to use incense, depending on how you guys are planning on moving through this. Each block of incense is 1 silver, so you'd need basically 3 silver a day, but that only gives you 20 feet of protection. So you'd have to have multiple ones depending on how you guys are handling your marching order.
Quen will buy 3 gourds of insect repellent and 10 incense blocks.
Okay, so go ahead and knock 3 gold and 30 silver off your list, and you can add those onto your inventory.
King Gizzard's got no money, so he's going in dry.
Okay.
Melik taps King Gizzard on the shoulder and buys 4 gourds of the insect repellent.
Thank you.
Solana buys 2 boards.
Okay, so this merchant is having a field day today, grabbing 4 gold from Melik, 2 gold from Solana. Then he looks over at Devaney and Musharib and Enid.
Devaney will buy 3 gourds of salve.
Okay. And then, let's see here. I did not mean to go to my handouts. But I do. Okay. And Musharib is going to buy himself a couple of gourds as well, so he can make sure he can make the trip without having to deal with it. And he also goes over and picks himself up a rain catcher. And as he's talking to the rain catcher, so you can hear him as he's talking with the merchants, basically just saying, standard size, 5 foot. Okay. Yep. Okay. It can get up to 2 gallons. Perfect. 2 gallons. Yep. Holds 8. Good. That's all I need. Basically, the bits and pieces you guys picked up is that this rain catcher can produce up to 2 gallons of drinkable water per inch of rainfall in the jungle per day. And it can hold a maximum of up to 8 gallons per rain catcher.
Okay.
Quen will buy an additional one for himself and for whoever needs it.
Okay, so as you guys are discussing and people are picking everything up, Musharib will sort of sit down with you guys for a moment. Oh, not sit, but stand as you guys are debating making these purchases and whatnot. Says, okay, so we got a couple of decisions we got to make here before we start heading out. Number one is, well, we know where we're going. Number one is, though, how hard do you want me to push you guys to get there? If we travel at a reasonable pace for the areas I know how to get there, we can get going about 10 miles a day, assuming the weather holds for us. If we're trying to push it to get there faster, we can do so. But through the jungle, it's very difficult, and it can very easily wear people down.
Well, I would say we just go the usual pace, guide. What about everyone else?
I concur.
Okay. Now, for these rain catches, you're going to need plenty of water. It's hot and humid in the jungle. You're going to need at least a couple gallons a day. I would recommend every one of you picking one of these up.
Oh. Okay, I get one too.
You may not need it, but at the same point, drinking the water on the ground ain't exactly no, you ain't gonna find me doing it.
Melik sighs and picks up 2 as well before looking at King Gizzard and says, you owe me for this one, buddy.
The rain catches are all just 1 gold apiece.
Okay.
Devaney will pick one up.
As everyone starts picking them up, and you guys start looking out as you finish up the required shopping that you had to do. Now, actually, before we head out, there's one thing I'm going to toss out more out of character than anything else, and this is specific to Quen. When I was up moving your character sheet over, I noticed you had a longbow, but I noticed you did not put any arrows in your inventory.
Oh, yeah.
Would you have
Okay.
would you have purchased arrows when you bought the longbow? I'm assuming you would have, but I didn't want to mess with your sheet. And I forgot to mention that at the
I
beginning.
assume I would have, yes.
Okay, so let me just grab here and see. I think a quiver is like 20 silver or something like that. First, let me double check.
Does that go into equipment?
Yes, and there's a weird way we gotta get it set up. So let me find it here real quick. Okay, so arrows, yeah, 20 arrows is 1 gold.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, well, I'll take it.
Me too.
Okay. So give me just a second here.
And that's the same for like hand crossbow bolts?
Yep.
Okay, so I guess me as well.
Yes, King Gizzard, #1 lesson earned. Never touch a man's meat. Okay. Okay, so we know once you guys have that stuff added onto your sheet.
I'm raring to go into the jungle.
Gotcha.
Yes, let's go.
Okay. So as you guys are making your way, you start to leave the shop here, the shopping area here, and as you start walking up towards the front gate, they open up the. Oopsie, dropped something on the floor. Don't mind the noise. Anywho, okay. So, what is the marching order leaving the town? So, which one of you is walking up front with our friendly guide here?
I will be doing that.
Oh, okay. So, do me a favor. Go ahead and roll a d10 for me. See what happens as you guys are heading out.
Oh, sorry. I have to press my button to talk. I don't remember the.
It's /roll. So
Oh, that-
/roll space 1d10, or just /roll d10. Okay.
There we go.
So this is an interesting one. So is you guys are getting ready to as you guys are getting ready to head out here, you get stopped. You Devney get stopped by this gentleman. He comes running up to you. Oh, hey, oh, miss, I need your help. Please, you have to help me now, right now. Need your help.
What do you want?
But my husband, Draza, he's been sentenced to execution. He's been accused of stealing. That's it. My husband was. It wasn't him. It was mistaken identity. It was somebody else. He had nothing to do with it. He's been sentenced. There was no hearing. There was no nothing. And nobody. I can't get anyone to listen to me. I need your help. I I have 25 silver. It's all of the savings we have. Please, can you help me? That's it.
I'm going to. Well, before I even look at the rest of the party, it's like, what could I possibly do for you? I'm new to town.
It's called the Executioner's Run. Literally he has to run through it's a pit with velociraptors in them. He's about to be thrown in. I need your help. It's got to be now. He doesn't have time.
Okay, the rest of the party, what do you think? I'm assuming you're hearing some of this, if not all of it.
Yeah, this guy is not being quiet. He is definitely speaking loudly.
Aren't we already on a job? 25 silver. What's this one man? Don't know why we're even talking about this.
But we get to help someone and do some good and go see velociraptors.
So I look at the person and I say, all right, well here's 3 gold pieces. You use this to find some other help, okay?
He sort of looks down in his hand as you put the 3 gold pieces in there. Picks up the gold pieces and just pegs them back at Quinn. I've tried that. Few people won't help me, then fine. And he turns and takes off the other direction, trying to find other people.
Oh.
I could hear him fine. I do not know what he was talking about.
Well, he took the gold, so he must have needed it anyways.
No, he pegged it back at you. Sorry if you didn't hear that. Yeah, he chucked it right back at you. So those 3 gold pieces basically just hit your chest and fell on the ground in front of you.
Well, Quinn picks it up and dusts it off and say, well, shall we?
Mushru just sort of shakes his head. Huh? Let's go then.
That happen often?
Only if they do something to anger the princes.
Fair enough. Onward. Original job.
So as you guys start making your way out, we are going to close that, and we will jump over here. And oops, I thought I had that set to link. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Okay, so you guys are currently, give me a second, I'm going to shift ping us up here. You are currently way the heck up here.
Wow, this map is loading like hexagon by hexagon, and it looks
it's
sick.
it's because of the way the map is. Yes, Digitio, both the guide and Anit have picked up a couple of gourds of the insect repellent, as well as a rain catcher, knowing full well what they're heading into here. So as you guys start making your way, sort of winding through and heading west out of the town and then south where your guide is directing you to, you start slowly making your way through. So let's see here. You've got to make a couple of quick rolls here. See see how we're making do. So as he leads you out through the town and starts pointing things out, shows you the ways that you can sort of set up the rain catcher on your pack so it's convenient you're moving along. And as it gets later in the day, you notice that you're starting to get a little bit of light rain. It's not enough that it's really impacting your travel at all, but you guys are getting wet. And as you have got this set up, as you're moving through the morning, you're starting to accrue that water that you're going to need each day here. So as you're making your way through, you've got, let's see here. Okay. And so who is up front with the guide? Is it still going to be Devaney taking the lead?
I think so.
Okay. So we've got
Ken
Devaney.
would like to be in the middle of the party.
Okay, just give me a second here so I can get our marching order here. So we have Devaney taking up front. Okay, Quen, you said you were going to be somewhere in the middle. Up front with Devaney is going to be Musharib. Okay, Melek, Solana, and Gizzard, where will you guys be?
I'm chilling with Malik.
Melek's
Wherever
one
he
in
is.
front of Gizzard.
Okay. And then Solana, where would you be hanging out?
I'll be in the back.
Okay. So if we put Solana way in the back. Okay, then what we'll do is we'll put Anit in front of Quen, sort of hanging out up there. And then we'll have Melek and Gizzard taking those spots. So we'll have Musharib and Devaney up front, Anit and Quen, Melek, Gizzard, and Solana heading through here. So as do me a favor, Devaney, go ahead and roll a D100 for me.
Oh, damn.
Alrighty then.
Wow.
This is going to be interesting.
Critting on that D100.
What in...
What?
Is that like critical good or?
I'll be honest, I have no clue at the moment. We are about to find out. So let's see here.
We all know.
Yep, just instant death. King Gizzard swallows you all.
That's what happened.
Okay, so we're just going to copy there. Let's see here. So as you guys are sort of making your way through through this, it's basically open plains where you are right now. You're just south of town. You've been traveling for maybe an hour, maybe two at this point. Okay, and I'm just trying to find my tokens here. I do apologize. I didn't have everyone set up here. Okay, so we have Devaney is up front. We have, there's Quen. Okay. And now where is this fun little thing? Okay. Could they have... Really? That's what it is? Alrighty then. So, as you guys are making your way, and do me a favor and Devaney, go ahead and make a perception check with advantage. Okay. So as you are walking down, you actually come across. And give me, I am popping trying to move you guys over to a different screen here. As you guys are walking down, Devaney, you give out a call as you guys are walking, and forgive me, I don't have Musharib on the screen as of yet. As you guys have walked into what appears to be a small cluster of these strange furred creatures. As you guys are looking at them, and you've got Musharib up front standing right beside Devaney, as he goes, Zorbos. These are problematic.
They look kind of cute.
And as he says that, you notice one of them sort of turns and cocks its head, looking over at the group of you coming out to it. And as they all sort of turn and look at you, and Musharib looks over at Devaney and then at the rest of the group. This may not be our wisest bet. And with that, you hear this small, strange creature give out a little bit of a cry as one of them takes...
Does it hurt? Does it hurt?
No, this is more angry cry out at you.
Oh.
And as that happens, one of them that, from your perspective off on the left of Devaney and Musharib, starts to take a step forward. Starts to open its mouth and pull back with one claw, reaching forward towards the group. That's where we're going to call an end to tonight's session.
Oh damn! Oh damn!
Scary.
So, thank you very much to all of our viewers and to our wonderful new cast for staying with us for this whole session.
Thank you.
We have got quite the group in our Twitch chat. Digitio, thank you very much for hanging out so much. Matt George, this is Orkward Ghost. We appreciate you hanging out with us all night. Make sure you're back here next week to find out what happens with this situation. Before we jump off, though, I want to steal something that I love that Michael from the Friday night game does, and toss this out to the party. And basically, we're going to give somebody for next week a free D20 to use. Just an auto crit that they can use at any point. The decision is going to be based on the 5 of you, though. Basically, it's a reward to give to somebody who did something great during roleplay, something you guys were happy with. Talk amongst yourselves. Who do you want to give it to? What's your highlight moment that you think somebody earned a free crit next week?
Malik, Fiddler.
Yeah,
Enough
I
said.
agree. Malik really brought the house down.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
go ahead.
I enjoyed King Gizzard eating the sticks in the rocks.
I was gonna say the sticks in the rocks.
Okay, so what we'll do is we got a couple of votes for both. So Melik and King Gizzard both put down, make a note for yourselves that you both have a free nat 20 to use next week. And as for the entire party, I'm going to give you all one point of DM's inspiration to use next week.
Yay!
So that'll give you a free advantage on a roll. And yeah, we've definitely got we'll definitely see you next time, Ghost. Ghost voted for the performance as well, so Melik, you've definitely got some fans out there.
Yeah.
So
Bar party time.
Yes.
So
Keep on fiddling.
once again, to all our viewers, thank you very much for tuning in with us tonight. Don't forget, there is Storm King's Thunder, run by a wonderful DM Michael on Friday nights at this same Twitch channel. And for us, I'll turn it over to the cast to say goodnight, and we are checking out.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.
Thank
See you
you.
later, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Good night, everybody, and I'll see you on the dance floor.